very much.
Something.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, as an ordinary citizen, as I'm not speaking now as a lawyer,
Yeah.
as an ordinary citizen, if I am brought before a court of law, I should know the law that I have contravened.
Yes.
You cannot ask me to enter a defense for a law that does not exist, and particularly the law that the Supreme Court itself has declared non-existent. To what will I be defending? We're in a country where our laws are written. This is not England, where you have an unwritten constitution or unwritten law. We have a country where all our laws are in black and white. This is a lawmaker here. They made the law we're talking about. And if you ask him, he will tell you that there is nowhere they made chapter 45 of the criminal code. They didn't make it. The honorable, did people make that law? It is not in existence. So who made that law? Who made that law? Was that law made by the Attorney General's office? And the Attorney General does not have the powers to make laws. So I am saying, as an ordinary citizen, that Nnamdi Kanu is completely right.
My people, what we are hearing right now is shaking a lot of people, because it's about Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB. Reports are flying that some powers somewhere have already concluded to sentence Kanu to death, and this alarm was raised by none other than Omoyele Sowore, a strong human rights activist and politician who never fears to speak truth to power. Sowore came out to say, in clear words, that there is a secret plan going on behind the scenes to silence Kanu permanently, not through dialogue, not through justice, but by pushing him to the edge legally and emotionally. And honestly, if you've been following what's happening, you'll know that this is not something to ignore. Before we continue, please, my people, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications, because what we're sharing here is not just gist. It's the real talk you need to understand what's happening in Nigeria right now. Now, Sowore didn't just speak randomly. According to what he said, there's a level of fear and discomfort among some political elites whenever the topic of Kanu's release comes up. He believes that those behind his detention have already made up their minds to make sure he never comes out alive. Or if he does, it'll be under extreme conditions that will weaken his voice. But the big question is, why now? Why is Sowore raising this alarm again? You see, recently, there's been growing international attention on the treatment of political detainees in Nigeria. Some rights groups have started asking questions, and the federal government knows that once global attention shifts towards a case, it's no longer a small matter. People are asking, why can't Kanu be allowed to defend himself freely in court? Why are his lawyers complaining about restricted access? Why do court sittings end abruptly? These are the things that made Sowore speak out, saying that if care is not taken, they may carry out something drastic before people even realize it. And that's where tension began. Many supporters of Biafra started flooding social media with hashtags saying, "We will not allow Kanu to die in silence." Others are urging the federal government to handle this case carefully, warning that any negative outcome could spark serious unrest in the southeast. Please, my people, I want you to drop your opinion in the comment section. Do you think Sowore is right, that there's already a hidden plan against Kanu? Or do you think it's just another political statement to draw attention? I want to know what you truly think. Now, moving deeper, there are reports that some international organizations are monitoring the situation, including the Amnesty International and other US-based rights groups. They have been consistent in calling for fair trial and better treatment for all detainees in Nigeria. not just Kanu. And now, with Sowore's statement, those organizations might raise their voice louder. This is not the first time Sowore has stood up for Kanu. Even during his own detention years back, he spoke about injustice and double standards in the system. So when someone like him raises such an alarm, it means the information didn't just come from empty rumors. Let's also be honest. There's a pattern here. Each time there seems to be hope for Kanu's release, something new suddenly happens to delay it. Either the case gets adjourned, or a new condition is added. Now, Sowore is saying it's not just delay, it's a strategy. And this brings us to what's happening politically. With all the talk about security in the southeast, economic instability, and tension among regional leaders, Kanu's name keeps popping up in discussions. Some people believe that if he's released, peace could return faster. Others think his freedom might reignite agitations. So the government seems to be walking on thin ice. But one thing remains clear. This man's detention has lasted too long, and it's now drawing global attention. Sowore even said that instead of the government finding political solutions, they are planning a judicial endgame, which is a big warning sign. Please, my people, if you're watching right now, pause and like this video, because this kind of truth needs to go far. The more people engage with it, the more awareness we create. Don't just watch, like, share and subscribe so that this story can reach everyone who needs to know. Now, another angle to this matter. Some insiders claim that the new administration has been under pressure to close the case once and for all. There are talks of quiet meetings, consultations with foreign diplomats, and even local religious leaders begging the government to soften its stance. So you can see, this is not just about one man. It's about what Nigeria represents in the eyes of the world. If a political prisoner is sentenced unfairly, it paints a bad picture for the entire system. That's why Sowore's voice is echoing so loudly now. My people, this issue is sensitive, but we must talk about it, because silence is what allows injustice to grow. Kanu's lawyers have been saying that he is not getting proper medical care, that his rights are being violated, and that some court rulings in his favor are being ignored. All of this adds up to what Sowore is warning about. At this point, the international community might have to step in more firmly, because what we're seeing is a growing concern, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa and even in Europe. Let's be clear, no one is above the law, but the law should also not be used as a weapon to silence anyone. That's the main point Sowore is making, and that's what we all must think about. Before I continue, please, if you've not liked this video yet, go ahead and like it now, and make sure you subscribe, because we're following this story closely, and I'll be updating you with every new development. Now let's look ahead. If what Sowore said is true, then this is the time for everyone who believes in justice to speak up. Whether you support Kanu or not, fairness should be the foundation of every legal process. Because today, it's Kanu. Tomorrow, it could be anybody else. The message here is simple. Transparency, fairness, and peace. That's what the country needs. And if the government handles this case wrongly, it may create more divisions. But if they handle it wisely, it could become a new chapter of healing. So, my people, what do you think about all this? Is Sowore simply trying to get attention? Or has he seen something serious happening behind closed doors? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, because we'll continue to follow this matter closely. This story is far from over.